welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, race fans from across Malaysia. Welcome to the Toyota Gazoo Racing Festival, Toyota VR Challenge 2019 Season 3.
That is right, Nick Harris. He's joined here with me, Victor Cax. We're going to be your commentators here for today, live from Bandar, Malaysia. We're going to be seeing some highlights from our previous race, the sporting class, and boy, was that a chaotic race. Plenty of action and drama happening in this race, starting from even lap number 1. But in any case, this is the highlights of qualifying for this session. And as you can see, we had quite a few good times here. In fact, Sean Lee is P1 in this promotional class session. Actually set a time of 1:18.2, which puts him pretty squarely in the middle of that sporting class if he were to compete in that category. Then we see the accident that unfortunately occurred to Ayn Idrus in car number 9, and that effectively put her out of the qualifying. She will be joining us again for this race, I expect, given that the damage was not too bad. But as for the rest of the race here, we see the ball back and forth between Yahya and Nabil Ahmad. Both of these drivers are very competitive against each other when it came to the qualifying. But now this is going to be race day, and this is going to be where it's at.
This is going to be where it's at. Looking at the qualifying rounds, highlights for the promotional class, we've already seen that there is a lot of things to look forward to as we look into the grid here. We are going to go for a warm-up lap before we go into the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sean Lee will actually be able to take advantage of his pole position here. Sean Lee, Shukri Yahya, Nabil Ahmad, Diana Danielle, Kai Bahar are going to be making our top 5. We will be watching, we will be seeing the beautiful ladies here giving the signifier towards our racers.
Yep, 3 minutes left to the start. I believe that's what it's saying there. But speaking of the ladies of the track here, I mean, Diana Danielle in car number 15 is qualified in P4. She's literally the fastest woman on track right now, and definitely feeling very happy in her position. Definitely in a good place here in the second row, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good position at the end of this race. But like it's going to be race time pretty soon here, and with all these 11 drivers raring to go now, with 1 minute left, I think we're going to be seeing them start to go on their formation lap.
Right, looking at how this is going to transpire here during the warm-up laps, they are going to be able to get used to how the racetrack is going to be working out for them. So I'm pretty excited to see how Sean Lee is going to be enjoying his pole position as well. Shukri Yahya as well as Nabil Ahmad. Diana Danielle, the fastest woman on this track thus far at 4th position, is going to be fighting it off for that top spot. Kai Bahar, Wani Hasrita, Nabila Razali, Shafiq Khail, Akil Takayama, Ayn Idrus, and Jananik are going to be the other racers in this series. So I'm pretty excited to see how our 11 racers are going to be handling themselves within this race.
Well, if race 1 is any indication, they could potentially go down to chaos again, especially if there is an incident on the first lap. I mean, we've seen a lot of drivers in the sporting class there, you know, taking a lot of risks and having a lot of close racing action between them. There's like literally there was a 3-way battle at some points during the first race here. But for the promotional class though, because the lap times are a little bit more spread out, I'm expecting to see that the drivers will probably give each other a little bit more space. Perhaps braver drivers may actually try to make some really risky overtaking moves, but whether or not that will happen remains to be seen. 1 minute left until we begin our parade lap.
All right, our parade lap is going to start off in another 60 seconds. Really interested to see whether or not turn 5 is going to be very interesting in terms of collisions for any of our drivers. Another indication of, but before anything, let's take a look at our grid promotions.
Yeah, so the first row is going to be led up by Sean Lee, who qualified P1, and Shukri Yahya, who is in P2. Row 2 is going to have Nabil Ahmad and Diana Danielle. Then in row number 3, we have Kai Bahar and Wani Hasrita. First half off the grid. Then going into the 4th row in the next page, we're going to be seeing Nabila Razali and Shafiq Khail in row 4, and Akio Takayama and Ayn Idrus in row 5, and Jananik is going to be filling finishing up the last row.
Well, they are going to be going for their warm-up lap here, looking exciting. It's going to be very interesting to see how they are going to just get used to this. Yellow flags already being waved off here as they start moving their warm-up lap. Interesting to see how they are going to just get used to this, whether or not turns number 5 and turns number 9 as well as turns number 4 are going to be indicators of disaster for any of our celebrities here today.
And of course, disaster can only strike if the drivers take a little bit too much risk. So I hope that at least for the first lap, that the drivers be able to keep their heads cool. I mean, we're still going to be expecting to see a lot of close racing during that early stage, but it's going to be the later stages where really the differences in pace between the drivers will start to come into play. We'll start to see a lot of wide gaps, I believe, between, especially during the midfield area. I think like the top three definitely will be sticking very close to each other, particularly Shuki Yahya and Nabil Ahmad. We can't really discount Diana Danielle and Kai Bahar either, because these two have shown themselves to be very consistent as well during practice and qualifying. So I'm expecting to see a battle like that in the midfield. As for the end of the grid there, I mean, we're seeing Akio Takayama and Shafiq Kyle, constantly trading positions there, but only to be overcome completely by Nabila Razali, who qualified in P7, thus leading that entire train all the way to the top there. Then we got Wani Hasrita, who, by the way, was the winner of the first round of the first round of Toyota Vios Challenge back when they had it together. And right now she's starting in P6, not quite the position I expected from her, but who knows, maybe during the race she might be able to make up a few more places.
Yeah, very exciting to see how a lot of these drivers are going to be adjusting themselves, especially with the fact that with regards to race, they've got to be fighting off for race lines, and most importantly, they've got to be fighting off against each other.
Yep, so the green flags are waved. The drivers are going to be sitting ready for the go here. And it's go time. Drivers all the way out at the same time. A really good start there for that joint. That's quite right. He's going to be taking that position easy there as he takes in that line. He's going to try to defend against Nabil Ahmad. As now they'll be going down towards turn 3 and 4 really soon. So let's see how they go into the runway. Sean Lee leading very comfortably in front. In the meantime, right behind him, trouble may be brewing between the two drivers of Shukri Yahya and Nabil Ahmad. As now it looks like Nabil Ahmad is going to try to have a look at the inside here, going down the chicane, but they cannot go too car wide through there. He has to give way there. He has to hold it. Ooh, came in very close and tidy. Now they're going to be coming out to the hairpin. They're going to try to see how they're going to be able to navigate it. Unfortunately, they're a little bit out off the corner there, so I couldn't quite see how they were able to get past. It seems like they will be able to get through no problem whatsoever. A bit of a slowdown there coming from car number 1 to Akio Takayama, having to brake a little bit harder. He couldn't quite see what happened to him there.
A bit of distance there being covered from Sean Lee between himself and Shukri Yahya. Nabil Ahmad as well is going to be trying his best to basically give a little bit of pressure to his Shukri Yahya as well. And Danielle not too far from behind third spot. So I'm pretty excited to see how this is going to affect the positioning here. Sean Lee right now, look at the amount of distance that he has between himself as well as Shukri Yahya.
Sean Lee is so confident on this track right now. He's going to be able to build up a lot of pace. Look at the amount of gap that he has away from Shukri Yahya and Nabil Ahmad. Ahmad still fighting for P2 at the moment. Another battle is brewing right now between car number 8, Wani Hasrita, and Nabila Razali, as both of these cars are sticking really close to each other. If Nabila Razali thinking of perhaps finding an opening here to get past Wani, who's in P6. But for the moment now, the cars are going one after another as it comes down to these straight again. And again, we see Nabil Ahmad constantly trying to go for a much tighter line through chicane, just constantly trying to see if he can find a look on the inside there of Shukri Yahya, but still failing to find a good position to overtake him on the real point.
Interesting how they are. Let's take a look at the replay of how they started it off, and let us break it down for you, Victor.
Yeah, both Shukri and Sean just basically went off the line exactly at the same time there, but as a result of Sean cutting it off that first turn, he is able to maintain his first position. But the thing is, there's not much of overtaking going on here, except, say, for car number 8, Wani Hasrita is able to wrestle back her position looked like she recovered pretty well. She's going to be able to maintain into P6 for the last lane, just ahead of trying to catch up to Kai Baha.
Let's go back into the race, 18 laps to go. Now, nicely done there coming in from the side of Sean Lee. We do see that it is going to be lap number 2 as they're going to be approaching lap number 3. Shukriya here as well, trying his best to basically give a lot of pressure to Sean Lee. Nabil Ahmad not too far behind from Shukriya here as well. A little bit of distance between Nabil Ahmad as well as Diana Danielle. Could be an opportunity for them to fight off against each other in turn number 5.
I think Nabil Ahmad is starting to slip back in the pace there. He may not have been able to get through sector 2 cleanly there, so it looks like Sukiyaka is starting to pull away from him. In fact, Sukiyaka set up a very, very fast sector 1 time here, so he's starting to catch up to Sean Lee here. So Sean may soon have to keep an eye on his rearview mirror because Sukiyaka is starting to barrel in onto his gap.
Nicely done there coming in. We do see that Sean Lee already being able to get the best time of the entire race thus far. 1 minute and 20 seconds in the books already. Could this be an indicator of this spot? We see now.
We do see Sukiyaka has just lost a bit of the cover on his side view mirror again, like the side mirrors get too close to the corner there, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to lose that mirror. There's a little unfortunate Shuki's mirror is still hanging on there. It's not actually broken off yet, but the thing is that being folded up means that he will lose vision on the left-hand side of his car. So at least he may not be able to keep a close eye on Nabil Ahmad, especially on the inside of these turns. But the thing is that most of the attack points here on this track are coming in from the driver's right-hand side. So at least with his mirror still up there, he should still be able to defend pretty well.
It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers are going to be fighting it off. We do see coming in from Nabila Razali as well as Wani Hazrita. They may be fighting it off for 6th position here. Very close. Could be turn number 5. That could be the difference here between them for 6th spot. But no.
Yep, so they will be coming down towards turn 6 now. We are seeing most of these cars just following a single file line there going into sector 2 again. They're not really keeping very clear to each other here, so I don't expect to see any overtakes. It's really going to be boiling down to which driver is going to make a mistake first, because the gap being this wide here, unless the drivers are able to close in on that gap and both try to have looks on insides, or try to go for some outside passes, which, to be fair, are going to be really hard on this track. But quite frankly, the only way any of these cars will actually end up overtaking each other is if one of the drivers there makes a mistake on his braking point, and that's where the car behind has to go against him.
Well, it's going to be interesting how these drivers are going to be competing off against each other. We do see right now Sean Lee still ahead. We're not trailing too far behind. It's going to be Shukriya here as well as Nabil Ahmad. 3 of them fighting for that first spot. However, 4 laps down, and it seems that Sean Lee will still be able to gain a little bit of distance between themselves.
Shukiyaya is trying his absolute best here to try to match Sean Lee in terms of lap time, but the thing is, Sean is still pushing 119s in this race, and unless Shukiyaya can actually match that, I don't think he's going to be able to close that gap up soon enough to reach the end of this race here. In fact, you can see Sean Lee after that first sector is already pulling away from Shukiyaya, so I think Shuki should focus a little bit more about the battle that's going on behind him, which is basically to stay ahead of Nabil Ahmad, unless he can actually make up some good time when it comes to his lap times.
Nicely done here coming in. We do see that it's going to be a fight between Wani Hazrita as well as Nabila Razali. Both of them now trying to jostle for that position of 6th spot, which Nabila Razali wants to take away from Wani Hazrita. Wani Hazrita doing pretty well to stop and to defend against Nabila Razali.
The trouble is that looking at how Wani Hazrita is using her lines here, she's actually leaving a lot of gap wide open. So the thing is that Nabila Razali break her, then there could be potential for Nabila to actually snatch away the position if she's not careful. see Jenna Nick right now on the way from the 11th spot up to 9th spot. So that's the only changes that we're going to be able to see thus far in the past 5 laps that has passed us. I mean, credit here to Jenna Nick though, making up 2 places there off of Akio Nakayama and Ayn Edrus falling off the pace massively here. But the thing is, you know, we started off the entire weekend here not having a really good lap time, but slowly but steadily improved over time, and now fighting in that P9 spot. Maybe she could come back here with a pretty good position by the end of this race. In the meantime though, we are witnessing Ayn Edrus trying to find a way around Akio Takayama as they come down towards turn 6. This is Akio trying to close the door at the end, and the thing is that given that this section is so tight, there's not much room here for Ayn Edrus to play around with, so she's gonna have to wait until they get up to the main straight before there's plenty of room there for her to try to make a counter attack.
Nicely done, they're coming in. However, we do see that for these 3 particular drivers in Jenna Nick, they're trying to find it off for that 9th spot that is being won by Jenna Nick, as we do see here.
I think we did see Ayn Edrus trying to have a look on the inside there of Akio Takayama just before we cut away there. But I think for the most part, Akio is actually being held up a bit by Jenna Nick, who doesn't seem to have the same amount of pace as he does. In fact, Akio Takayama is setting a much faster Sector 1 time, so he might be thinking of trying to find a way to get past Jenna Nick, but until she actually opens up the opportunity for him, he's not going to try to go for that risk, because again, if you make a mistake, just like when we saw in the sporting class, one mistake there is all it takes to end your entire race.
Looking interesting to see how this is going to work out for them. We're going to be watching from the side of the battle. 6th place from Wani Hasrita, who is maintaining 6th place against 7th places Nabila Razali, cars number 8 and 92 respectively.
Still looking at the battle between Wani Hasrita and Nabila Razali. Nabila still not able to find a way past Wani Hasrita, and still trying to find a good place past her. Again, on this particular track, the best place so far has been T5, but in order to be able to make the pass, you have to get a good exit. And the thing is, I think most of these drivers are just always trying to look on the inside before chicane, which is not really where you want to make the passing. In fact, it's kind of dangerous to do it over there. So again, they just have to be able to upbreak them after the chicane and get a really good exit out. Now they will be coming in through car number 8, Wani Hasrita going for a little bit of a ride. Here closing the door on her own. Exit might be going, not quite able to though. Unfortunately, a bit of contact there onto Nabila. She had to back off there, unfortunately, and that's actually widened up the gap between her and Wani Hasrita.
With 8 laps down and 12 laps to go, nicely done there, coming in from Wani Hasrita to shut the door onto Nabila Razali. Nabila Razali should have taken a little bit on the outside of that racing line if she wanted to contest it. However, it's got to be careful that she might actually get contact with the barrier.
A bit of bad news there from Wani, because her rear bumper is starting to hang off there, and that add to some drag there on the car. So perhaps on the long straight there, she may not be able to build up enough speed. Between her and Nabila Razali. So remains to be seen there. We have to see what the second times will look like before we can come to any conclusions here. But as far as things are concerned, I think Wani and Nabila will still continue to fight off, as we still have 12 laps in this race.
Interesting to see how these drivers are adapting towards the situation. Sean Lee still ahead, but we are going to be watching for the battle for 9th position. Here we see Jenna Nick as well as Ayn Edrus. We do see that Jenna Nick still holding on at her 10th and her 9th spot.
Yeah, and by the way, just a little bit of update about the front of the grid here. Sean Lee is basically 2.5 seconds ahead of Shukuyaka. He has such a massive lead right now that it's almost untouchable compared to anyone else. And between Shukuyaka and Nabil Ahmad, both of them are already slipping back on the pace there. They're not going for that close racing that we saw right on the start now. At this point of the race, it's all about maintenance. It's all about keeping your position and make sure you don't slip further back in the grid.
Very interesting to see. Now we are about to hit our halfway mark of the laps. Halfway point of the race, as we have 10 more laps to go in a while, as we do see that Sean Lee right now clocking in the best time of 1 minute and 19 thus far, with an average time of 1 minute and 21 seconds. For the rest of the pack, it seems that Sean Lee is blazing ahead, trailing ahead
this consistent, I think he pretty much has this race in the back. He shouldn't he should be able to come in with the win here as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, especially going into sectors 2. But given that he has such a huge gap between him and Shukiyaya, you know, the pressure is definitely off of him now. All he needs to do is just drive a good, clean race. In the meantime, though, we're still witnessing the battle here between Wani Hasrita and Nabila Razali. Both of them coming down towards the corner. Wani Hasrita able to close the door in here, but oh, good exit there coming in. But no, Nabila Razali gets closed off before she's able to accelerate again. The same problem that she faced previously when she tried to get past Wani Hasrita.
Nicely done there. And oh my goodness gracious me, it seems that we've got ourselves a bit of a collision here. Shafiq Kyle.
Shafiq Kyle is quickly sprinting away from the car there. Doesn't want to stay on the track there while the other cars are still on track. Double yellows have been waved here, so the cars will have to slow down anyway. But definitely this is going to be cause for a safety car. So ladies and gentlemen, looks like the race will be postponed a little bit as we await the safety car to come out and lead these cars on a parade lap.
At least it took halfway through 10 laps for the safety car to come out. So a little bit of how to say disaster here for Shafiq Kyle. So it is a very, very, very unfortunate turn of events for car number 88 driver Shafiq Kyle right now. Don't know whether or not we do have any footage of Shafiq Kyle meeting the barrier at that moment, so we might have to wait and see whether or not we'll be able to get any of that.
So the thing is that Shafiq Kyle up until that point was in P8 and he was in a very comfortable position. I think it definitely was an unforced error there that caused him to go into the wall. I didn't see him have any battles with anyone in this track at that point though. So it's a bit unfortunate for Shafiq Kyle, you know, because effectively this is going to be the end of his race here. He's going to be finishing in P11. Safety car is going to be passed a little bit by Wani there. A truck is in the way though. He's going to have to quickly get out of the way there as the cars will be coming into the hairpin.
Now safety car already making its way. So we do have a little bit of craziness that has come in for Shafiq Kyle here, stuck in a very precarious position. Luckily enough, he was able to come off safe and sound. However, it seems that our tow truck will work as quickly as possible. Look at the amount of damage there onto Shafiq Kyle's car.
That front end is definitely bent in there. You can see it's starting to slope a little bit downwards, so definitely a lot of this chassis damage. It could even be engine damage as well. We do see a bit of smoke coming out. I believe that should be the intercooler in front leaking there. So these engines are definitely still running very hard. Remember, these guys were racing just not too long ago. So unfortunately, car 88 will hopefully going to be able to see what happened here. Well, no, it's going to be a replay of the start here, it seems. But we're going to give you guys updates as we await the crews to clear off Shafiq Kyle's car.
Well, it was very unfortunate for Shafiq Kyle, was doing pretty well thus far. However, due to an unfortunate accident, collision, which I don't think we have any footage for, happened outside of our view, sadly. So we just have to guesstimate what happened. So looking at how the race has started, Sean Lee was able to take his pole position and utilize a very, very big gap between himself as well as Shukiyaya. So I do feel that there's going to be a fight between Shukiyaya and Abdul Ahmad. Diana Danielle still holding on towards that fourth spot. Kai Waha not too far behind from Diana Danielle.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing worth highlighting here is that given that now we're going to be looking at potentially a restart here from the safety car, this actually can play very well into the hands of some of these drivers here, because as you can see, because the gap has already been widening so much between a lot of these drivers here, now that the safety car is out, they're going to have to close in together. So the restart here is going to be interesting to see, because a tenacious driver could actually utilize that opportunity at the restart to just leapfrog himself a couple of places ahead.
Well, it is interesting because the lead that has been established by Sean Lee may actually diminish with the fact that the safety car is in place. So this could be a very big opportunity for Shukiyaya to try and steal it away from Sean Lee.
And particularly also for Wani Rita and Nabila Razali, they're going to have to put their little battle on hold there. And Nabila in particular has to try to find a good way to come out of the exit there. It seems like maybe she might be turning in a little bit too early, especially on the hairpin. And because in effect, in order to get that overtake there, she has to be able to find a good exit. And the trouble is that she's not able to find the gap with Wani Rita. Because Buddy is always constantly been staying on the racing line, not giving any room for her at all. But now with the safety car, just keeping these drivers all chilled out on the road as we wait for them to begin the restart of the race. I think we're going to have to see what happens from this point on.
Well, it is going to be unfortunate for Shafiq Kyle here. Tremendous amount of damage towards the front side of the car. So it does indicate to me that the speed at which he met with the barrier must have been tremendous. And judging from the amount of damage, it's just really, really unfortunate for the side of Shafiq Kyle to be on the wrong edge of a collision.
I mean, having not been able to see any footage of the crash, though, it's really hard for me to guess what exactly happened to his car. My best guess probably is he might have clipped one of the barriers as he came down the fast chicane just before the hairpin, because judging by the angle of the car, it definitely must have hit something on his left-hand side in order for it to go into the wall like that. The only other possibility I could think of is maybe a damaged suspension, which seems unlikely because Shafiq did not have any crashes or incidences so far this weekend. So a bit of an unusual circumstance. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage to show as of this point, so it's going to be kind of hard for us to speculate why exactly Shafiq Kyle crashed out, but it's safe to say that his race at this point is over.
Yeah, Shafiq Kyle will have to sit this one out as the safety car already is in play, as we do see that our tow truck will be able to get Shafiq Kyle's car out. Safety is the #1 priority in this instance here, and we do feel a lot of it's tremendous loss to a beautiful machine of engineering there. Look at that. I mean, the entire front of the chassis is already bent inwards, and in fact, it's such a waste.
And in fact, also have a look at the concrete barrier. It's basically smashed in like that. I mean, man, you just can't imagine how much force the car was having just before it hit the wall. I mean, it just goes to show that, even and the fact that Shafiq literally jumped out his car immediately after the crash goes to show how safe and how secure it is to be inside those Toyota Vioses.
Yeah, definitely. We do see now that all the cars are still going to be staying in the grid position, in their respective positions as they do their safety laps, and could be interesting to see how these cars, how Shafiq Kyle is going to be taking this. Definitely a sad day for Shafiq Kyle. However, he still has tomorrow to be competing again for race #2.
Yeah, so race control now working hard here in order to try to get this race back underway. Safety car is still going to be out in this lap here with the tow truck. Now finally making a move here and starting to escort Shafiq Kyle's car out of the way. So hopefully we will be able to see a restart happen soon. We still have about 7 laps to go here, so I expect by the time we get to the restart, 6 more laps. That's not a lot of laps here for these drivers to try to race here. Hopefully we'll be able to see a nice good sprint to the finish here from the promotional class.
Nicely done from a lot of them. May take a little bit of time before the safety car may be back into the pit again. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much space can Sean Lee actually get himself between Shukri Yahya. So a lot of the space between himself and Shukri Yahya has already been negated already, considering that the safety car came in. So interesting to see how Sean Lee is going to adapt towards the situation and how much lead will he get from this. Whether or not Shukri Yahya can actually come back into this and try to overtake Sean Lee is really dependent on where he wants to attack onto the side of Sean Lee and which turns he wants to take advantage of.
Well, the thing is that Sean Lee has all the advantage here because he's leading the entire pack. It is his initiative on when he wants to actually start flooring it. So the thing is, for all you guys here, it looks like the racing will be coming underway very soon. The safety car will be pitting at the end of this lap. So the restart is going to be on the cards here. We've got about 5 more laps to go after this. It's going to be an absolute sprint to the end here. Who's going to be able to come out on top? Will Sean Lee be able to maintain pole position all the way to the end, or will Shukri Yahya or Nabil Ahmad provide a huge challenge here as 5 more laps in this race before the end of the promotional race 1?
Looking forward to seeing how these guys are going to be going. Okay, safety car back into it again, and we shall see that Sean Lee right now may pedal to the metal here as he goes more to completing lap number 15 as they have 5 more laps to go. Sean Lee right now looking towards getting a bigger lead.
Yeah, look at the way that Sean, Shukri, and Nabil just literally shot away for the rest of the field, leaving a huge gap between them and the midfield. But Shukri Yaka is able to keep up with Sean Lee. He's holding on to the back of Sean. He knows that he has the pace right now in order to keep up with him, and he wants to stay there as long as he can. With 5 laps to go, anything can happen within the next few minutes though, as now they will be coming down towards turn 5, going to chicanes now. Shukri Yahya and Sean Lee keeping an eye out on the scene whether they can find a gap. Doesn't quite find it though. He still will have to stay behind. Meantime, Nabil Ahmad going a little bit wide through there. He will be able to stay in P3 though. He has no pressure coming in from behind him. In the meantime, for the rest of the pack though, it looks like who is that all the way in the back there? I think that's Wani Hasrita and Nabila Razali continuing to battle against each other at the restart here as they enter into Sector 2. In the meantime, Sean Lee still able to keep his car together here, going through the very narrow and tight section here on the back chicane, coming down that final corner there. Will be able to come in to the 5th lap, still in P1.
Shafiq Kyle's misfortune is Shukri Yahya's opportunity to try to dethrone Sean Lee from his first place spot, as we do see 4 more laps to go in this race number 1 of the promotional class. As we do see here, Sean Lee right now still maintaining it. Jana Nick as well as Iron Idris were able to climb up a lot of spots here due to Shafiq Kyle coming out and taking over. But we do see Iron Idris right now slowly taking over Jana Nick as well, to fighting it off for 8th spot.
Yeah, Iron Idris now really making her way back up. She's going to be into P8 now, having gotten past Jana Nick in the restart. In the meantime, though, Wani Hasrita and Nabila Razali are still continuing to battle it out on the back there. And we do see car 15, that's Zaina Daniel staying very, very far ahead here with Kai Bahar. So she should be able to come home with that P4. Now at the moment, though, Wani Hasrita having to defend very hard here. It looks like Nabila is not able to find it inside on the exit. In fact, Wani is going to close the door on her right on the side here, but no, it looks like she's going to go for the counterattack, swing around on the side here. She will have the inside line going in there. She closes out onto Wani Hasrita, doesn't give her any room. She takes a racing line and she takes away P6.
Nicely done there, coming in from Nabila Razali, taking away position 6 away from Wani Hasrita. Nicely done. Kai Baha could be in her crosshairs after this, however she has to defend it against Wani Hasrita here, as Wani Hasrita looking towards giving more pressure towards Nabila Razali.
She's going to have to sit right behind Nabila Razali and hopefully try to think of a way to go for the counterattack. But safe to say, though, Nabila Razali saw the opportunity, she took it, and it was such a joy to see that overtake there onto turn 7. So that was really exciting action here inside this promotional class race. In the meantime, though, just to let you guys know, Sean Lee has just set the fastest Sector 1 of all time right now, 34.775.
Nicely done there, coming in from the side of Sean Lee, getting better and better in terms of time. However, we do see Nabila Razali was able to come in very, very well with a crazy cut away from Wani Hasrita. We could see that this could be another opportunity for the side of Jana Nick as well as Akil Takayama. They may find it off here, but it's got to be careful though. Nicely done, coming in from Jana Nick to close it away from Akil Takayama.
Leaving a bit of room there. Akio having a look at the inside, but he decides to cancel at that last moment there. he's seeing definitely a good opportunity on the exit there. He's going to be going up alongside Jana Nick, but unfortunately doesn't quite have the good acceleration out of the corner there, and Jana will be able to get back into 9th position. It seems like Jana may have scraped the wall because her wing mirror is literally hanging off the edge there and could actually fall off there if given a little bit of a nudge. But for now, Jana Nick, you know, she's going to be a little bit blind on her right-hand side, and perhaps that might be something Akio could actually take to his advantage.
Well, we do see here Sean Lee right now, a little bit more space between himself as well as Shibuya as he exits this chicane. Beautifully done there, as not too far behind is going to be Shibuya. 2 more laps to go, Victor.
Yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be a photo finish here for Sean Lee. He qualified in P1. He pretty much is going to take home the win here if he can just keep Shuki Yahya in the bay. And if his last lap is any indication of 118.7, he's definitely leading this entire pack by a country mile. And he's coming down to the final corner in P1. One more lap to go for him, and he will be taking home the win here in this promotional race.
Last lap for them as they are going to be completing this race here. Sean Lee right now still ahead, getting better with time as we do see Shibuya behind us goes Nabil Diana Daniel and Kai Maha slowly crossing that finish line.
Yeah, we are seeing car number 83 who's been very much out of the action here for the most part. You know, I was expecting to see a lot more action between him and Shuki Yahya, but the thing is, Shuki has been able to stay so far ahead of him that now the gap between him and Shukri is at 7 seconds here. Man, that's a lot of time there between the two. As right now, Shukri still attempting to chase up to Sean Lee. Doesn't quite close up the gap though, unfortunately. At this point, it looks like Sean pretty much has this in the back. He should be able to come home with the win here. And what a drive it has been.
It has been a drive here, exemplary drive coming in from Sean Lee as he approaches his final lap. Beautifully done here. Lots of space between himself and Shibuya. Exemplary driving from Sean Lee. Not even a scratch as he is heading towards that final turn, towards that final stretch before he heads off into the checkered flag.
Yeah, so again, congratulations, Sean Lee coming in first one, taking the win here. And Malaysia, Shibuya taking a very strong second place, followed by Nabil Afan in car 83. Better luck next time. You know, it was a very tough race for him, but credit him, he stays on the podium. And coming in fourth is Diana Danielle. She proved off an amazing qualifying time, and she keeps her P4. Kai Baha finishes behind him, and Abila Razali, having made a good pass there on the 103, will take P6, while Wani goes home with P7. Ian Edris will be coming across the line very soon in car number 8, followed by Jana Nick, and then followed by Akio Takayama, and that wraps up our race here today. Sean Lee celebrating from his window there, waving to the marshals, waving to his fans, knowing that he has made the best drive of his life here in Bandar, Malaysia.
Nicely done there, fist bumps into the air, rightfully so for Sean Lee, being able to walk away with the best lap of 1 minute 18 and definitely enjoying a very, very good attack of how actually nice, good advantages in terms of how he entered that situation, how he was able to maintain that pole position and was able to just get that victory easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Hey, it was definitely looking very easy with Sean, but at certain points though, with Shukri Yahya starting to get very comfortable, at some point, you know, Shukri was able to actually set a 118, and that actually provided quite a bit of pressure for Sean towards the end of the race. But credit where it's due, Sean, even though he was facing those kind of odds, he still kept his cool, he still kept a consistent and fast drive there, and that was the key to his success over here in this promotional race. And not to mention as well, like looking at the way some of the other drivers have struggled a bit here, it seems fair to say that Sean could consider going for a potential to potentially add on something more to his resume besides being a YouTuber, a beatboxer, and an actor.
Yeah, a lot of talent here in display on the racetrack. Definitely something to shout about for Sean Lee. Not only an established talent, but also an established racer here with a beautiful win and maintaining pole position. A picture picturesque win, as was said by my colleague, by Sean Lee.
Yeah. Now the trainer cars will be going to scrutineering. They still have to weigh in the cars at the end of the race here. But definitely Sean will be pulling up to that weighing station with a big smile on his face. Hopefully that doesn't add too much weight though.
Very good joke there coming in, Victor. Definitely big smiles coming in for Sean Lee. Definitely a bit of sadness for the side of Shafiq Kyle, however. But it did actually, Shafiq Kyle's misfortune did actually open up an opportunity for Shukri Yahya to try to overtake Sean Lee. However, that opportunity was missed due to the fact that Sean Lee was just able to capitalize on more and more distance between himself as well as Sean Lee.
And also, like, give a shout out for those at the back of the grid there, like Ayn Edgers, who actually crashed out in qualifying, is able to finish in P8. Like, that is still a very strong performance there for her. And especially also for Jana Nick, you know, she wasn't doing very well in doing practice. She was able to actually finish in P9, so huge credit to those two drivers.
And it has been a crazy one. Let's take a look at the replay of the entire race thus far.
Yeah, so this was the start here. This was a really good start actually for Sean and Shukri. Both of them coming off the line exactly the same time, but also a very good start for Wani Hasrita, who was able to come out into P6 and had to try to hold it there, but Nabila Razali is constantly giving her pressure. This was a really good pass there actually by car number 18, Shana Nick, onto Akio Takayama, who left the door a little bit too wide open there for her to exploit. And the thing is that with Jana Nick able to keep up with this, she had to hold Akio Takayama all the way throughout the entire race here. This was where we saw Nabila Razali constantly trying to poke at the behind of Wani Hasrita, keeping her under pressure there. And then eventually that really paid off in a huge, huge way towards the end of the race here. In the meantime, we also see Jana Nick here. You know, she was holding up an entire train of cars comprised of Ayn Edgers and Akio Takayama. Eventually, Ayn Edgers was able to get past, but Akio was not able to do the same. And this was the crash that happened onto car 88, Shafiq Kyle. Unfortunate incident that actually brought out the safety car, which actually played perfectly to the hands of Nabila Razali, because at the restart, she was able to get a good exit out of here and stay out in front of Wani before they turned into turn 7. Well, that was a perfect overtaking move there, but definitely the man of the race here was Sean Lee. You know, he kept a consistent pace all throughout. He led this race through and through. He stayed off the pressure from Shukri Yahya, and he counts home the big victor here in Bandar, Malaysia.
Very nicely done. Attack some of these corners with perfect speed coming in from the side of Sean Lee. Was able to get some crazy amount of attacks there coming in for Shukri Yahya. But however, Sean Lee stayed dominant despite the fact.
Yeah. All smiles there for Sean Lee. Definitely a well-deserved drive here. And we are going to be seeing the full results here. So again, from the top here, P1 is Sean Lee, winner of the promotional race number 1. Shukri Yahya takes P2. Nabil Ahmad takes P3. Diana Danielle, fastest girl on the track now, is taking P4. Kai Bahar in P5. Nabila Razali in P6. A well-deserved position there, getting past Wani Hasrita, who is finishing in P7. Ayn Edgers in P8 and Jana Nick in P9, ahead of Akio Takayama in P10.
And sadly, it is going to be Shafiq Kyle that is going to be on the final spot at 11th spot.
Yeah. Plus 11 laps because he had to retire in. But I hope you guys enjoyed this promotional race here.
Well, we will be back with our final race of the day. It is going to be the Super Sporting Class later on at 5 p.m. So make sure you stay tuned for more Toyota Gazoo racing.
Listen. Here is the sound of respect. The sound of unparalleled style. The sound of a car that says everything without saying anything. A car engineered to push standards, to push the status quo. There's only one place to go for a car like that. Forward. The all-new Corolla. Unspoken class.
Toyota, all about the drive. Toyota, all about the drive.